Hello, welcome to our hardware demonstration. First of all, I want to say that we are missing some components that we couldn't get together because we couldn't get the group together because of the coronavirus. But everything that's here should be working. It should be able to demonstrate the functionality of the system. So if we focus on the terminal first, it's asking us the admin pin. I'm just going to type 1, 2, 3, 4 for that. And these numbers would usually be not visible, but we have made them visible for this demonstration specifically. So let's type how many the number of users. That'll be 3. And then we'll type the pin code for each of those. 2 and 3, that's easy to memorize. Again, these wouldn't be visible normally. And let's use the default settings. Now, first thing it's going to do is going to ask us to a pin. That's the normal operation. And if we type a wrong pin, any number, it's going to tell us that it's incorrect. It's going to make us wait for 60 seconds. Here on the board, that red LED that's on, that shows us that the door is locked. And it is locked because we typed the wrong pin. The green LED beside it will show that the door is open. We'll have to wait until the timer runs out, till we can type a new pin. It won't let us type anything now. But when we can type it, we'll type the correct pin and we'll show that the door will in fact open. So now that the timer is running out, okay, it's gonna let us type again. And we'll type the correct pin. We'll type the first user. It greets us itself. It tells us that we're user number 1, which is correct, and the door will be open for 60 seconds. We can see that the green LED is now open and the red is off. While we wait for the timer to run out, we can look at the voltage. On the first column, we're measuring 2.3 volts. That is controlled by this potentiometer here on the left. The blue LED here is the voltage control system. Because 2 is within the ranges that we've set, it's off. But if I change the voltage here, the LED turned on, you can see that the voltage went above 4 volts, which is our threshold. If I turn it back down, it's going to go off because it went below the 4 volts. Now I can keep turning the potentiometer down and it turned back on. Why? Because we went below 2 volts. We have 2 thresholds. The voltage can be either too low or too high. I'm going to turn it back on. And by now the door is locked again because the timer has run out. Now, 60 seconds is a lot of time to be waiting. That's why we have some settings available to us. If we type the admin pin, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, it'll ask us for the settings menu. If we go into it, the first setting is the unlock time. So instead of 60 seconds, we'll type 5, and the same for the locks. And then if we leave everything as default. Now the door will only wait 5 seconds. If we type the correct pin, again, let's use user number 2 now. User number 2 is welcomed. The LED is green, but it'll only last 5 seconds. So now if we reset the microcontroller, it should still have the 5 seconds as a setting. Because it's been stored to the EEPROM, it should hold that setting. It should still do the 5 seconds. I'm going to use number 3, it still turns on the LED, everything is normal. And same thing for the wrong pin. If I type something wrong, it's still 5 seconds only. Now the temperature here, that's 15 degrees. It's controlled by this potentiometer here. We didn't have the temperature sensor on us, and even with the potentiometer it's easy because we can change it willingly and we can show how the system works. The 7 seconds display, that's not so good. We have these LEDs in place of it. We can see that the first 4 bits, that's a 1, and after that, that's a 4. So 14 degrees, it is correct indeed. Now we can change the potentiometer here and make it go up. The white LED here is the temperature control system. If I turn that up, we'll see that after 5 seconds, the temperature will start updating, and when it went over 20, the LED turned on. It's going to keep updating every 5 seconds because that's the setting we have. Now, that is a bit long to wait, so what we can do is go to the settings menu by typing the admin pin. Yes, we'll keep the 5 like before. Leave that as default. How many temperature measurements? So we only want to do one now for the demonstration, and let's also measure it every 1 second instead of 5. And then let's see if everything else is default. Now, if I change the potentiometer here, I can change it, and you'll see that it'll update every second. And once again, I can reset the pick, and the setting will still be there because it's stored on the EEPROM. I can also change the threshold back into the settings menu. See, it asks us for the threshold for the thermal control system. The default is 20 degrees. If we type something like 40, leave everything else the same. Now 23 degrees, which normally would have activated the system, doesn't. We have to increase the temperature all the way to 40 before it turns on. Now if we do want to reset the system, we have this button here. Just press it and that will reset the system completely. So it's asking us for an admin pin and it's completely new. Let's type something like 5. Number of users, just 1. And now the temperature threshold is, for example, at 20 again, so with 30 degrees the LED is on. Everything's been reset, even the timers. If I open the door, see, it's back to 60 seconds. And the door is opened by the green LED.